as soon as I get bored, which is when I realize I'm looking if my mail icon has a red number on top, if I'm looking at the notification at the top right of my macOS, as soon as I start doing something else other than looking at the screen, I'm like, wait a minute, go back 30 seconds and start watching again. Where did you jump off? Because that's the moment where I like realize, okay, I myself lost focus, so everybody else is going to lose focus as well. Something needs to be done about that area. And then I go review it and check, is there something in there that doesn't need to be said? Can we get to the point faster? That needs to go out.
Wow!
Wow Happens with Stefanie Hitchens and Victor Kunzig.
Victor!
Steffi!
Audience!
Yes, hello and welcome to today's episode of Wow Happens. Today we're talking about why it takes 40 hours to make one of these episodes.
No,
Yes.
this one not. This one will be quick.
No, it won't. It takes us 40 hours, yes, because we always underestimate how much time it takes, even after 20 episodes, which, is a real thing, believe it or not. And as a starting creator or as a starting out professional creator, we hope that by the end of this episode, there's some takeaways for you so you can actually better prepare for this onslaught of work and also the constant pressure of having to publish all the time, which is real. But before we get there, let's rewind the clock and go back to the start. So, how was it for you when you first started out? You're doing the rewind thing. I was like, what's happening? Stroke? Is it a stroke? It's finally happening. No.
You got rid of your boss, I see.
No.
So some years ago, I worked as a lecturer for adults, so in like professional education, this kind of stuff. And at one point, I had like 4 days per week where I had 8 hours of teaching.
Oof, that's a lot.
And I had like my curriculum I had to go through, and sometimes I did it already, sometimes it was a new module I did, and this basically always took a lot of time to prepare. And at one point I felt like I don't have the time anymore to actually work to learn new things. Like, I didn't feel like, hey, this was bad what I was teaching, and I'm still convinced it's not, but it was not the current stuff anymore because I was so focused on creating content. Like in my case, like these lessons, right?
Yeah.
And this really took over like so much time I wanted to spend on learning for myself, and so that I have something to teach, something new, but
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Let's create a little bit of a bridge here to what you just said, to what I said at the beginning, right? If you're starting out as a professional creator, like somebody who owns a business or is hired to make content, you have a level of expertise about your subject, right? And you got that expertise because you spent a lot of time doing X or
Yeah.
Y, right?
Yeah.
And then you want to promote that. You start making videos, and that takes a lot of time. And the more you make those, the more time you invest in those, and the less time you actually have to continue developing your expertise. And you become actually more of a video creator than the expert for what you wanted to actually, make the videos about.
Exactly. And it makes also sense, right? Because you know social media not only as a consumer, you also know it as a creator, and this also creates a dopamine hit every time you publish something. Like you publish and you feel good about yourself. Then you get a like, you get a comment, and whoa, someone read it. It's so cool. Hey, and I have already 500 views, or I have 1,000 views.
Yeah.
And so, hey, tomorrow I want to have again 1,000 views. And this builds up over time, and over time you have less and less time to actually learn your craft or do your work beside content creation. And then we have the fact that it takes a lot of time, independently if it is now 40 hours or 20 hours or whatever, but it probably takes more time to produce a video than you initially thought.
Yeah, and that pressure is real, it's not just from the dopamine effect. It's also, if you just look around other creators, right, whether they're professional creators or regular creators, right, they publish multiple times a week. They have a newsletter. They have this and that and the Twitter and Instagram Reels and all this stuff. It's
It
a
all
ton.
looks great.
Everything looks good, right?
Yeah. And then your stuff is maybe, yeah, it's also cool, but it's not on the same quality level, and you also don't see what goes all into this, right? Like, I don't want to say that our podcast is now the best in the world, but
What?
what? But we basically did 5 times the introduction now because we were both not happy about like how it actually turned out, and we
I was happy about the first version, just for the record. You were the one who wanted the other ones. And then I kept screwing up.
but this all takes a lot of time.
Yes, it does.
And it's also important to invest this time, right? Like, yes, you're maybe not having the output as one of these multi-million follower creators, but the more you invest into your content, the more reaction you actually get.
Yeah. Then it's your own desire, right? So, for my channel, like, I enjoy making videos. And by the end of every video, I'm like, I need to wrap this up because I want to publish. Part of me just wants it to be done. But you also have a desire. I have a desire to make these things, right?
Victor, on your YouTube channel, you are publishing like what?
Once per month. I'm a very slow creator.
How did you find this? Like, how did this work that you publish once per month?
Well, unfortunately, I have a day job.
Yeah. Hello.
No.
Remember me?
Yes. But no, that's if I could make it faster, I would do it. But the realistic truth is I don't have more time to make these videos. And at the beginning, when I started out, I just thought, I'm going to see where this goes and see how fast I can make them. And I just somehow settled on the roughly monthly rhythm, right? And there's still pressure from myself as well, especially since I've reached a certain level of an audience. But I would say it also turned into a habit, right? I got into a rhythm, and yes, I know that I need to publish, but it's just sort of a habit. As soon as the video is done, I start working on the next one, and then the next one, and the next one. So there is after a while, it becomes kind of like just something that goes on.
What would you tell someone who says, hey, like, this doesn't take so long? Like, there are 2 people talking 30 minutes. I can do this in 30 minutes.
Yeah, but I mean, that's basically, you see just the tip of the iceberg of this whole thing, right? What you see here is a 30 minutes recording, but it didn't take 30 minutes to shoot this. It takes roughly an hour, but there's also time before and after the recording. And there's multiple people here in the room as well. I think in total, it's about 6 hours just for the recording if you put all of them together, right? But I think before we talked about, all this pressure and, overall 40 hours. So maybe we'll just break it down a little bit into to the individual steps, right? It starts off with the idea. Like, do you have to make research, figuring out what you want to talk about? And then
and we need to pre-discuss this, right?
we discuss this in multiple meetings, then, the set has to be built or like prepared for the shooting itself. Then all this happens. And then after the recording, the whole post-production process starts.
This is a lot of work.
A lot of
Thank
work.
you, Helena.
Thank you, Helena. And, multiple people's working on that as well. And then it's not even finished. We still have the publishing, which is always something we love to underestimate, right?
And yes, maybe even in 2026, if you are the world-renowned expert and you have a Nobel Prize in something and no one else is talking about your specific topic, okay, you can lower your production quality. Yes, you can ramble a little bit longer and people will still watch it. But as soon as there is a bit of competition, people are just not watching your stuff.
Yeah.
And since we are more focused on this and cut even more in the post-production, we got more views.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Like, I have one more question here regarding the production we do. You are doing the quality review. What are you actually reviewing?
So when we look at the episode itself, right, let's say the recording, right, we have to make sure that the episode in the end is a cohesive episode that has a clear message, which is, depending on what we talk about and how long we talked about, easier said than done, right?
Yes.
We can ramble on, and even nowadays, sometimes we stray off the path, even though we had a whole episode about not straying off the path. But that process takes time to make sure that whoever is listening or viewing this actually understands what we're trying to say, right? And when you cut out bits,
Like when you talk bits, you mean like 5 minutes, right?
there have been recordings which were like 45, 50 minutes, which were cut down to 25 minutes. So like, almost halving it. And then you have to make sure that all the remaining bits still fit with each other, which is, again, a challenge sometimes, but we found our ways. And I think besides some details, it's not really noticeable all that much, but maybe you can tell us that.
What is your thought process when you decide like that this is not coherent? Like how do you make this call?
I monitor my attention. So I watched the video, right?
It's already a bit edited, right?
Yeah, it's already a bit edited. I watched the video, and I do this for my private, like my own YouTube channel as well. As soon as I get bored, which is when I realize I'm looking if my mail icon has a red number on top, if I'm looking at the notification at the top right of my macOS, as soon as I start doing something else other than looking at the screen, I'm like, wait a minute, go back 30 seconds and start watching again. Where did you jump off? Because that's the moment where I like realize, okay, I myself lost focus, so everybody else is going to lose focus as well. Something needs to be done about that area. And then I go review it and check, is there something in there that doesn't need to be said? Can we get to the point faster? And that needs to go out. So I use myself as a guinea pig to figure out, does it work or doesn't it work?
Okay, this is really fascinating. And I'm wondering like what would you tell someone who says, I don't have the time for this. I can't do this all by myself. I don't have these 40 hours or maybe 30, 50, whatever. What would you tell them what they can do? Like, let me add one thing. Like we said already, yeah, you can publish less or like slower, basically, right? But what are the other options?
I think if you have the means, hire help. An editor and a producer is a good way to start, especially an editor. Like they can take over like all the especially if you're like not into media creation before. Let's take we once had this example of a woodworker, right? Somebody who makes wooden tables and starts to create a YouTube channel to sort of promote his work and hopefully sells more tables, right? And that person, let's in our hypothetical scenario, doesn't have any experience with editing videos. That's a lot of time wasted, in quotations, to learn how to edit videos before he actually gets to a point. And hiring an editor is it's something that you hear all the time with creators. And one thing that you should think about is like, oh, but what if the editor isn't that great or whatnot? If you never edited a video before, even the most junior editor is going to be better than you. So think about that, right?
But you in your own YouTube channel, you decided to edit videos yourself. So
Yes.
why?
I like editing.
But it's also like you keep the control, right?
Yes, I think editing has a huge effect on the video itself. Like any video or movie, like editing is a huge part. That's also why you get an Oscar for editing. Like you can change the story entirely, how the video feels with editing. And it's something that when you make your own videos, it's always a part of you that flows into the video. And editing is a huge part. It's the writing, it's the filming, but editing is just as big of a factor as all the other ones.
Yeah, and I want to add, like, yes, the editor has a big influence on how your final video looks. And this is why, like, even the junior editor is better than no editing experience because they know the tricks. They know already the craft. And the cool thing about hiring an editor is this person needs surprisingly little amount of onboarding. Of course, you have onboarding, and don't expect that in the first video you will be faster because you need to tell them what to do and how you like it. But very quickly, maybe already in the second video, you actually profit from having an editor.
Yeah.
And it also makes sense to find someone to work long term with because it gets faster and faster and faster because they understand you better.
Exactly.
What is important to you. But I want to make the case for the producer. Hiring an editor is a great start as step one, but then alternative step one for me is also the producer. So if for whatever reason it's really important to you as a creator to have this control of the edit and you really want to nail this, you still profit from having a producer. Because what this producer does is they can hold you accountable. They can really make sure that you do what you wanted to do. And because you have a lot of other priorities, right? They can give you instant feedback if your recording was good. They can do the quality control. I'm so happy that you do the quality control of most of these episodes and I don't need to do it. They can publish for you. They can also get up in the middle of the night and press publish on a tweet you have prepared. Like, a producer maybe doesn't save you as much time as like an editor, because in our case it's very fast, like 2 days of work that we don't need to do because we have an editor. But the producer still saves you time very fast. And if you get someone good, then this person is basically a really good project manager.
Yeah.
And that helps you to scale, that helps you to actually run your business better. Thank you, Victor, for being part of this company here.
Thank you.
And for me, really, I want to repeat this, like, both is a good start. And you can choose what makes sense for you. But this is a good way to scale.
What about hiring an AI producer? Does that work? Like
or an AI editor, right? Yeah, you have a lot of software as a service services, web portals, apps that basically cut the stuff for yourself. Even DaVinci has a multicam editing tool, but it's missing the feeling,
the organic touch.
the organic touch. It's also missing to give you feedback. If you hire an editor, they will give you feedback what you need to do differently. And at least mid of spring 2026, this is not the case for the AI tools. Yes, you can do your clips with, what is it called? Opus.clip or clips. It does everything automatically. It makes shorts out of your long form content. Great. But you learn nothing from this experience.
Yeah. And I also want to add a case against me and a case for editors. Like I mentioned before that it's for certain people like myself, it's hard to give up the control of the editing because I have a very sort of like I want it to be like this, right? But in any creative profession or work, right, collaboration is a huge benefactor for quality, right? And if you hire an editor, yes, it will take them a certain amount of time to learn how you want to do things, but it's very likely, even if they're like juniors, that they will also bring something in, something that you wouldn't have come up with, because simply you're two different people, you have two different perspectives. That's also something AI, this collaborative approach, it's not gonna, at least at this point in time, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah. But there's also, at least in theory, the option that you could hire a researcher, right? Like especially big YouTube channels, you learn they have like script writer, they have researchers. Like, why not start there? What do you think?
I think that's dangerous, actually.
Really?
Because if we take our example, like at the beginning, you mentioned something about you're the expert, right? And you have this knowledge, right? And then you start making videos to sort of promote your knowledge. And then the video making process takes up a lot of time. So you need to scale. So you start hiring people. If you hire a researcher, you actually end up transmitting that knowledge that you had, that you want to spend more time with, to a different person. So I think it's a tricky thing, right? You want to be the expert and be supported by other people to transmit your expertise. You don't want to get rid of your expertise and start becoming just
a host.
Just a host, exactly. That's the whole point of this entire episode, is to make sure that you don't lose this expertise. So I would avoid hiring a researcher.
I think this is a good moment to wrap this episode up. Let me quickly summarize. So you always have the tension between you want to publish faster and you need more time for publishing videos. And it's not about the 40 hours. Like, it just will take longer than you thought it will take. And so if you want to scale, you have two options. You can hire an editor or you can hire a producer. And both will release you from some of the time you need to spend. The editor will save you more time very fast, whereas the producer probably will create systems for you that makes you more efficient and helps you to be accountable and publishes things without you. That's really, really great. And I think with this, let's now really finish this episode. Dear audience, dear viewer, dear listener, if you like this episode, please like and subscribe. And also, I would be really interested in how did you scale your video production? Because probably there are different ways of doing this. And this is the one way we figured out and we are doing. And with this, let's say thank you.
Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you very much. And see you next time.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.